Hey everybody, it's me, Mia Friend again. Welcome back to my channel and to a video that's a little bit different than normal because it's almost 1 a.m. and I just finished watching the Miraculous Ladybug and Cat Noir movie on Netflix, and used to make Ladybug content a long time ago, and I thought, why the hell not? I'll make a damn review because, you know, I'm familiar with the show, of course. I am caught up with season 5, and I'm not really a big fan of how the show has kind of turned into what it has turned into. So I'm gonna give my thoughts on the movie as well as how it compares to all current 5 seasons of Miraculous. And you can agree or disagree with me. Let me know in the comments. But but please. Just be civil. Hopefully this gets a few views at least, and at least a few comments. Also, it's been a while since I've uploaded an actual video to my channel, so I thought I would just upload a video. I'm gonna go to bed after this, but this is not scripted or anything. I want to give my thoughts on the movie since I just watched it and I just finished it, and I have a lot of thoughts. So let's just go ahead and start with, my, general feelings. So, I enjoyed it. It was cute. It was not, what I thought it was going to be in terms of a Ladybug and Cat Noir movie. Basically, if you've seen the Origins episodes of Miraculous, if you change things, not a little bit, but quite a lot, and you add the ending of season 5, but you have Adrian there, then you have this movie, and then you add in some songs that are just okay. In my opinion, I think the songs are just okay. But I thought it was a cute movie. Now, when I say I thought it was a cute movie, I mean it's cute for what it is. It's not, great or amazing. The animation is great and amazing. I think the animation is the best part about the movie, honestly. It's Pixar, Disney level animation, maybe DreamWorks level animation. Maybe saying Disney or Pixar is a little high, but it's really good animation. I really enjoyed the animation. That was my favorite part. I liked the redesigns of the buildings, the scenery. The production design was really, really good. I liked it way more than it is on the show. Because I think the production design on the show has gotten very lazy. And also, the crowds on the show is also kind of lazy. I get that, it's a TV show. It doesn't have as big of a budget as a movie does. But I can only look at the same child that looks like Manon with different hair for so long that it's just kind of And also, I'm tired of looking at the empty ice rink and, them being the only people there to go ice skating when, clearly this dude that runs the ice skating rink has more clients and more students, and people, want to go ice skating more often, I would assume, because it's there and it's open. But, yeah, the animation is definitely the best part. Obviously the show can't be that level of animation as I would like for it to be, because also they have more than one studio animating the show. They animate different episodes and you can tell, but I think that's the biggest thing that this movie has going for it is the animation and the voice acting. The voice acting is also really, really great. Of course, they get the original English voices from the show to reprise their roles in the movie. The only thing is the singing voices for Ladybug and Cat Noir, for Marinette and Adrian. They don't use the English voice actors, but then Hawkmoth's English voice actor gets to sing his song, and Tiki's English voice actor gets to sing her song, her parts. So I'm so confused as to why they didn't go with Christina and Bryce to sing. They've sung on the show before. They sang in the Christmas special. I really don't get it. Because even if, even if it didn't sound great, I mean, you could just, use you enhance their voices with programming and, auto-tune and stuff. But, like, I don't think it would sound that bad. But, like, you could so tell that, yeah, that's not her English voice actress singing. And Christina V has a really great singing voice. I've been a fan of hers since before she was, like, a voice actress. Like, when she was a YouTuber doing covers on YouTube of, like, Haruhi Suzumiya songs and stuff. Like, I subscribed to her channel, like, a long, long time ago, before she started landing a lot of voice acting roles. And, like, she can sing. She has a really great singing voice. Like I said, she has sung in the show before. Like, when the Christmas special that had songs, like, they sang their songs. So I really don't understand why they didn't have them singing, because it's not, I mean, the guy that sang for Cat Noir, at least his voice kind of sounded similar to Bryce Papenbrook's speaking voice, and he doesn't have a bad voice either when he sings. Like, I'm not gonna say that they're, like, professional level singers or anything like that, but they are both really, they sound good in the show. Like, in the Christmas special, like, they're in tune. They don't sound that, bad. Like I said, again, Christina has done a bunch of covers. So I really hope that she does some covers from this movie. And then can someone edit her version in, like, and put it to the clips of the movie? Because it took me out of it so quickly. Like, I also didn't know that this was going to be a musical. And then it's a musical, like, randomly. And you're just like, okay, I'm just thrust into a musical, like, at the very beginning, after the introduction from Master Fu, who barely does anything in this movie, by the way. Which is fine, because I feel like mostly this show was, or this movie was made for, like, people that like the show already. But it's also, like, a pretty good introduction to the characters of the show. I would like to think that this is, like, an alternate universe, though. Obviously, it's not canon to the show, which I think they've stated before. But, like, it's still a good introduction to the characters, and you kind of get a sense of, like, how the characters are by watching this movie. So I would say if you want to introduce someone to the show or to the characters, okay, maybe show them, like, season 1 of the show, and then, like, explain what happens after, like, and show them season 2, and then explain what happens season 3 onward, because the seasons kind of go downhill in quality and writing from there, personally, I think. And I know a lot of other people do too. There are good parts to seasons 3, 4, and 5, of course, but I think the first 2 seasons are top tier. Anyway, yeah, then show them the movie, because you're gonna go from the animation quality to being here to, like, astronomically higher than the show, of course. But anyway, I was talking about the songs. You are, like, thrust into the first song, and it is, like, super obvious that this is not the singing voice is different from the speaking voice, and it's just a bit jarring. It kind of took me out of it, like, immediately. I was like, okay, so her, like, they couldn't even ask her to sing the songs. Like, you couldn't have her do a take of the song and then decide if you want to keep it that way, because, like, it's just so bizarre. And, like, I already know that people are asking her on TikTok, how come you didn't sing the songs in the movie? And she's had to, like, now, like, answer the questions without, like, I don't know, giving, like, a full answer, because I don't know, maybe that's, like, under NDA or something, or, like, maybe she just doesn't want to talk about it. But, like, you could tell that it's a question that she's been getting a lot since the movie came out, and she's kind of had to, like, been forced to, like, give an answer, not, like, the best answer necessarily, and not the worst answer either. But I can tell that it's kind of like, she's kind of like, I don't know, I don't want to say she's tired of getting this question, because I'm sure she's going to get it for a really long time, but I can already tell that she's, like, trying to figure out, like, what kind of response she's going to have to give to people, so they're kind of, like, satisfied, but not really. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of different decisions as to why, but it's just very jarring, especially if you are super used to what their singing voices sound like in the show, which, again, their voice actors do sing their songs in the show when they have songs. So it's just very jarring, and I don't know. I personally think Christina is a better singer than the person who does the singing in the movie for Ladybug. The tones of their voices are quite different, at least I think so. You can also tell that, like, apparently, I looked it up, the girl that sings the songs in English also did the singing in French, so it wasn't even the French voice actors singing the songs in the movie in French either, so they got some, like, French singer to sing them, and they gave the songs to her in English too, and she has good pronunciation and everything, like, that's fine, but there are some points where you can hear that, like, she has a slight French accent, so then, you know, and again, like, Christina, you know, Marinette in English doesn't have a French accent at all when she's speaking English, so it just sounds kind of weird. That's really the only, like, nitpick thing, but it's like it's that thing of, like, watching the Given dub, like, watching it in English and being like, okay, cool, these are their voices, they sound really good in English, and then you get to the part where Mafuyu has to sing, and, like, it's the same thing, but except they didn't dub the songs into English, they just didn't dub the songs at all, and so, like, it's his Japanese voice actor singing the song in Japanese when, you know, I'm sure there was reason for not dubbing those songs as well, but I know that, you know, again, it's the thing of, like, I know Brandon McInnes can sing. He's done a cover of that actual song before he was even cast as the role. And also, he knows Japanese. You couldn't, like, have him just dub the song in Japanese. But anyway, it's that same situation of, like, oh yeah, his singing voice is clearly a different person singing it than the speaking voice. And it's just, and, you know, they don't sound exactly the same. So it's the same thing here with Ladybug. It's just, like, she sounds different. That doesn't sound like Christina. Same with Cat Noir. And for, like, a good portion of, like, the first part, speaking of the voices, like, with Chloe, I thought it was a different voice actress doing Chloe's voice when she was first introduced in this movie. But it's the same voice actress. I don't know why she sounded different at the beginning, but she did. And then when she got, like, into, like, saying all the mean stuff to Marinette, then she sounded more like Chloe from the show. So I don't know what happened there. I don't know if they told her to, like, be more subtle, I guess. I don't know. It's very weird. I'm still a little confused. But everything else is good. The voice acting is great. Nothing sounds weird. Other than some people don't sound like themselves at the beginning, and then you kind of get used to it and you're like, okay, I can hear that it's the actual person. But the singing was a little, not off-putting, but it did take me out of it, because I'm like, oh yeah, that's, like, not her singing voice. That's not her singing. So speaking of the songs, they're okay. Personally, I think they're just okay. There were a lot of opportunities, I think, for them to kind of, like, some of the songs weren't necessary. Like, there was a part where, it's, like, towards maybe the, right after the middle part, and kind of closer to, like, the beginning of the end of the final act, and Marinette's, like, sitting in a chair, and, like, the music is playing, and she's not saying anything, and I was like, oh, is she gonna sing again? Because at that point, I was like, okay, I'm, like, kind of tired of them singing, and I'm usually, like, really into musicals, of course, movie musicals, you know, I like Disney movies and stuff, you know, the songs and everything, but that's the thing is, like, sometimes the lyrics were kind of clunky for me, like, they had to make, of course, you have to make parts rhyme so it sounds better, and I know that, like, the songs were composed by Jeremy Zag. Now, clearly Thomas Astruc, the creator, had, like, nothing to do with this movie, which is also why the movie, like, made sense and didn't, like, add convoluted bullshit to it like the show does, because they have to extend the show for, like, a million seasons or whatever, or however many they agreed upon. Yeah, you can tell that, like, this was actually, like, written with care. You can also tell this was written, like, at least 5 years ago, because some of the jokes in this movie are kind of, like, old. And what I mean by that is, like, there's a constant joke about, like, with the song Careless Whisper, which, like, yeah, that's been a joke for a long time, but I feel like that was, like, a joke that was, like, a meme, like, 5 years ago. and they play it more than once, and when they played it the first time, I was like, oh my god, they put Careless Whisper in a joke. Plague, like, does nothing in this movie. He is literally just an extended fart joke, which is not funny and stupid, and I did not like that part. I thought the villain song, Hawkmoth gets a villain song, but there was way too much talking in that song, and it just wasn't that. I don't even remember what it sounds like. I just remember that they talked too much in the song. You could tell that they're kind of like trying to, you know, make it look really cool, and like parts of it did look cool. It gave off like very like wannabe Disney villain kind of like vibes for me. Like it wasn't quite there, but it was close, except they talked way too much in that song, and I don't remember what it sounds like. I thought Tiki's song, because Tiki gets the song when she's first introduced to Marinette, that song was fine. It's to the tune of the theme song. Her voice actress got to actually sing her parts, and Hawkmoth's voice actor got to sing his song. So again, I really don't understand why some people did and some people didn't. It just makes no sense to me. But that song was good until Tiki had to rap, and then the rap was really clunky. Lin-Manuel Miranda, you are not Jeremy Zag. I'm sorry. Some of the lyrics were a little bit clunky. I don't know what they sound like in French. I'm sure maybe in French it makes more sense and flows better, but with the English lyrics, I don't know, not really my cup of tea. But they were okay. Nothing like spectacular. Cat Noir gets a song after he falls in love with Ladybug, and his song is like generic I'm falling in love with you song. I don't remember what it sounds like. I really don't remember what any of these songs sound like, except the one that's to the tune of the Miraculous theme song. And then also there's like a remix of the full Ladybug theme song where it has Cat Noir singing in it. So there's that, and I'm familiar with that song too. But again, it's the theme song, so I'm familiar with that. But the other songs, I couldn't tell you what they sounded like. I just like they're not really sticking in my head, and maybe that's just me. And again, I don't like comparing it to like Disney or DreamWorks, but Thomas Astruc opened the door when he criticized Encanto, so you know, I'm going to he didn't make the movie, but still I'm gonna compare it to something more recent, like that movie. Like, okay, when I left the theater watching that movie, I had the song stuck in my head because, again, I know it's really popular on the internet now. It's like not like Lin-Manuel Miranda, but he's a good lyricist. I think he knows what he's doing. He's written a bunch of songs, and he knows how to like write lyrics that sound silly, you know, sometimes, but they rhyme, and like the rhymes are clever, and the flow, if there's like a rap part in it, they flow. Like it flows into each other, and it sounds natural, and it doesn't sound weird or drawn out or too long. And that rap part in Tiki Song was way too long and drawn out, and I don't know, it sounded really weird. The one song that I will say I did enjoy, like I actually really enjoyed, was the one where the Cat Noir and Ladybug sing to each other, where they're like, yeah, we're combining our... I think that's all I remember, like, something combined, and like that song, the lyrics were like decent, I think. Again, it was like close to like a Disney level song, but it didn't quite hit it for me. That's just me personally. You can disagree with me in the comments, you know, again, be civil. But yeah, I don't think it necessarily needed to be a musical, because like just do the story. If you took out like 2 of the songs or didn't have any of the songs, you could like have, you know, not necessarily more exposition, but more showcasing of them like fighting villains, because that part was actually really cool. I actually really liked that part. I liked the villains in this movie. They saved the best villain ideas for this movie, because I will admit some of the villains in the show are kind of shit. They are not good, okay? I can name some off the top of my head that I think are really bad. Mr. Pigeon is one of them. Just a dumb villain. It's funny as one episode in the beginning, like that's funny. So is Reflecta, like that's funny. But then they reuse the same villains like 4 or 5 times. I'm exaggerating, but I know some people are tired of seeing the same villains all the time, and you could tell that they put more care into the villains of this one for this than they did in the show, because the first, like, akumatized villain that you see is like a gargoyle monster, and it looks pretty cool. And they fuck up the stained glass windows in Notre Dame, but they fight a gargoyle, and it's pretty cool. That's like their first outing as Ladybug and Cat Noir. It's very interesting, very, very good fight sequence. I really liked that part. Again, it's like Origins, except instead of fighting, what the hell is it, Stoneheart, they're fighting some gargoyle thing, and the fighting was way cooler. And then the other villains that they fight that you see in the song montage, well, not the montage yet, but there's like a carnival, and they go there and they fight the mime guy. It's like a different version of the mime. It's not Milen's dad. It's just some guy. And then this magician lady, and like their powers actually make sense, and they're not dumb like some of the powers that the villains have in the show. Not all of them, just some. I liked that part at the carnival. It was interesting, it was cool, there was like actual danger, it was intense, there was some tension. I liked that. I liked the tension in this movie. I think they paced things really well with the writing. I'm not saying all the writing was good, because again, some of the jokes are really bad, but I thought the pacing and the way that the story moved was really good. It was decent. It's better than the show, of course. I didn't need 5 seasons to have them fall in love with each other. The other thing I liked was them building chemistry with Marinette and Adrian. Again, there's a montage where they're fighting other villains as Ladybug and Cat Noir, and again, the villains aren't stupid, like, they make sense, and I liked watching them. Okay, maybe the one that looks like a croissant was dumb, but at least it was an interesting idea. It wasn't like the giant baby villain. I hate that episode. Yeah, like, that's interesting. And it showed, again, them becoming, like, closer as Ladybug and Cat Noir without us having to see them talk to each other. Like, it was just a montage of them fighting, and it was cool. Like I mentioned, I liked how they built up the relationship and chemistry with Marinette and Adrian, because in the movie, Marinette is clumsy, and she is embarrassed all the time because she is clumsy, but she's not a blubbering, stuttering idiot mess when she talks to Adrian. And they meet differently, so she doesn't hate him. Like she does in Origins, where she thinks he's like Chloe and she doesn't like him before she gets to know him. No, they meet in the library and they're the only ones in there, and he makes sure she's okay because she's running away from Chloe because Chloe's being a bitch, and then he helps her up, and she kind of starts having a crush on him right then and there, and he thinks she's a weird girl, but, you know, she's harmless. And Nino and Alia are already kind of established as, like, friends, and, like, it's clear that Nino has a crush on Alia, so they try to get their friends together. It was kind of unclear. I think they're trying to say that Marinette is new in town, but not, because Chloe already knows her, so it's like a new school year. I guess it's like their new school, like they're moving up to the next grade level at a new school, but it's kind of unclear. And also Adrian already, like, goes to their school and he's already friends with them, so that's the other thing that's, like, unclear, but it's not necessary to explain, only because it's like, well, it's different from the show, so you can kind of just, like, infer how different it is. But it's still a little weird that they make it kind of seem that she's new, but she's really not. So I don't know how else they could have better explained that. Just because she's nervous about the first day of school, I guess. So maybe I'm wrong there. Maybe I'm, like, reading too much into it. So yeah, that's how they kind of become friends, and she has a crush on him, and she decides she's gonna ask him out to this ball that's gonna happen, this event. And so she does ask him out, and he rejects her, but she's not a stuttering mess when she asks him. She makes him a present, she writes his name on it, she has the box, she gives it to him at school, and she says, "Do you want to go with me?" And he says no. There's somebody else. But at least she doesn't, like, fall over herself 50 million times, and her friends don't have to tell her, like, just go and do it. Like, she just does it. And I like that, because I feel like that's way more realistic. The other thing that's kind of different is Gabriel. He's not a complete bag of dicks in the movie, and he actually learns that, like, he knows what he's doing is wrong, and he kind of actually shows remorse. He still goes through with shit, but his characterization is different, and I don't think Adrian is in a muck like they reveal in season 5 that he is. Like, it's just like the mom just died and he's trying to bring her back, basically. And also they like show her dead in the bed, and that was kind of like, wow. Also, Gabriel's long hair will haunt me for the rest of my life. I did not like that. Why they gave him long hair, that like that's his hairstyle before his wife dies, and now he looks like the way he looks. I don't why they did that. I have no idea. I did not enjoy that. It looks really bad and looks really weird, and I wish I could unsee that, but no. So enjoy that when you watch the movie. The climax, like the end of the movie was pretty good. I think the banter between Ladybug and Cat Noir is better in the movie than it is in the show, because there's less time to kind of like establish that. You kind of have to just infer like, oh yeah, they have like, you know, they kind of work well together already. They learn, the thing I really liked is that Master Fu tells them both the same thing at the same time in front of both of them. He explains shit to both Ladybug and Cat Noir, which the show had neglected and still neglects to do to this day, specifically before Master Fu lost his memory in the show. He would never explain shit to Cat Noir. He would never call Adrian over to his house and explain to him what's going on. We had to wait till what, like season 2 or 3, I can't remember, when he finally explains shit, and Adrian's like, wow, it's like, wow, you finally come to talk to me, and you've been talking to Ladybug this whole time without me, and keeping shit from me. No, that doesn't happen in the movie. He like actually explains shit to the both of them at the same time, and I really like that because it shows that they are equal partners, which is like the whole point of what I thought the whole point was of the show, is that they're equal partners. But like a lot of other people here on YouTube are complaining, the like power balance and the power dynamic between the two characters is really bad on the show. I totally agree with that. I really don't think they understand. You can have a female-led superhero show, but still have her partner, because they're not sidekicks to each other, even though the show treats them like sidekicks, or treats Cat Noir like a sidekick for sure. They are partners. They're like two Miraculous. Their Miraculouses like balance each other out. It's like you can't have one without the other. You can't have creation without destruction. You can't have good luck without bad luck. So that whole thing is like, it's a really bad power dynamic on the show that they still have not resolved as of season 5, because again, like they never had them get stuff explained to them at the same time in the same place as Ladybug and Cat Noir. Cat Noir was kept in the dark most of the time, and then finally he was given like attention from Master Fu, but not as much as Marinette was. And you know, again, you can see that power imbalance. And of course you have Ladybug giving other Miraculouses to other holders without like informing Cat Noir or anything like that. Like it's always like an afterthought, and that's not apparent in the movie, which is good. Because they say it like over and over. They repeat it. They say like, we're stronger together. I don't understand why when they're writing the show that they don't get that part. Like you have to have them both equally like add to the fight or the conversation or like the plan. Because when you just make it like one over the other, really, you know, regardless of like who it is, people are going to complain. And then also people are going to see that you don't really care about your characters. I have seen so many YouTube videos of people saying that the show creator and the writing and everything, like they don't care about Adrian, which I agree with. I would love to see an episode of the show that focuses on Adrian more and is about him and centers around him and has him as the main character and we follow him the whole episode. But I don't think that's ever gonna happen because they have it like in their brains. I think Thomas Ashbrook like just has like tunnel vision of, no, Marinette's the main character and she's the only one that we can follow the most as the protagonist, even though the title of the show is Ladybug and Cat Noir. So yeah, do with that what you will. I agree with a lot of people here on YouTube. I think the writing in the show has gotten worse over the seasons. And again, I think the end of this movie should have been what the end of season 5 was. Why? Because all of this stuff, the truth and everything, was revealed to both Ladybug and Cat Noir together at the same time, or at least in front of each other at the same time. Hawkmoth / Gabriel basically is going to destroy the world, and he finds out that Adrian is Cat Noir because half of Cat Noir's mask comes off, and he sees that. He realizes, oh, I'm doing a bad thing. I should stop. And so he stops and apologizes to Adrian and tells him why he's trying to bring his mother back to life. And Adrian is like, Dad, you just gotta let it go. We gotta move on from her dying. So Gabriel accepts and stops being Hawkmoth, and Marinette becomes Ladybug again because he takes her Miraculous. He's gonna take the cat Miraculous, and Adrian resists. Yeah, she finally uses the Ladybugs to fix everything, and then they have the ball at the end, and they reveal that Hawkmoth, or that Gabriel is Hawkmoth, on the news and stuff. And you don't see him again, so I guess he went to jail. He was arrested, I suppose, and is now in prison. Yeah, I think that's how season 5 should have ended. Adrian should have been there at the end of season 5 to see the reveal of Hawkmoth. I think it's really stupid that they're praising him as a hero at the end of season 5. Because now he's not Hawkmoth anymore. Lila is gonna be the new Hawkmoth. Which, that's fine, I guess. I don't like Lila as a character either. I really don't like her. They should have revealed it. I mean, yes, they are dating now on the show, Adrian and Marinette, but again, I think the way the movie handled it was a lot better. So they have the ball at the end of the movie, and she reveals herself as Ladybug, and he reveals himself as Cat Noir. They kiss, and that's the end. And then you see that Gabriel asked Natalie to keep his secret. His wife is down there still, and you see her dead body there, and she has the Peacock Miraculous on, and then that's like the end of the sneak preview. I was ready for an Avengers thing to happen at the end of being like, Ladybug and Cat Noir will return. But they didn't have that, of course. But I also really liked that the stakes were higher. There were like Avengers level threats in this movie. Like, people could die. Like, it was very real. It was becoming very real that they could almost die. So, you know, I like that the stakes are raised. And this is only rated PG, so, you know, good on them. Another thing that I quite enjoyed was that Chloe is just a mean girl. She isn't, like, doing dumb, harebrained schemes. I mean, I know that happens in the show because it's a TV show and you need, you know, antagonists and stuff. She was just a petty, mean girl, and it worked. She still had, like, redeemable qualities, though, which, again, I've seen a lot of people on YouTube here talk about how they don't like how the writing for Chloe has gone, and I tend to agree. I thought it was pretty cool that she became Queen Bee in the show, and then they took that away from her, and now they punish her like she murdered half the world, which, I mean, she didn't, but they treat her like she's that big of a criminal. What I think the character needs is, I think she needs therapy, and she needs help, and I think she needs to be written off the show for a while so they can come back and maybe, like, I don't know, have her be a different hero or be Queen Bee again. I have no idea. I think the character of Zoe is unnecessary, and I think they just wrote that character in so they could have a Queen Bee again and not have it be Chloe. She's an okay character, I guess, but she's not in this movie. Zoe is not in this movie. Luca is in this movie, and he does nothing. He's just a background character. All of their friends, minus Nino and Alia, are background characters. They don't do anything. They don't contribute to the plot at all, so it's kind of like, why are they here in the first place? But they're in the show, so they are in the movie. I think this show needs to learn from the movie. Overall, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, I think the movie is like a 6 or a 7. It's not quite higher than that, just because I think the songs are not that great, and they're very, like, they're not that memorable to me, minus the ones that sound like the theme song. I think the animation is the best part. Again, like I said, the voice acting is good, and again, the pacing is really good, and I think some of the ideas that are really good and creative are really good, and I think they should be applied on the show. But other than that, I mean, it's better than the show, that's for sure. But it's not the same levels as, like, it's not quite a 7 or an 8, but it's a solid 6, I would say. If you like the show, you'll really like the movie, I think. And I think it does improve upon some of the themes and the elements in the show. But it doesn't, like, quite 100% fix them. And I kind of wish it was a little bit longer. Make it, like, a full 2 hours instead of an hour and, like, 45 minutes. I think they could have added a little more story and less songs. Because sometimes the songs felt like they went on forever also. Go see it. Show it to someone who likes the show if they haven't seen it yet. I hope they make another movie because I think you can expand upon the story there, but I assume they're gonna wait till there's more things to base the movie off of that happened in the show that they can change and make better. I'm still on the train for the show only to see where it stops and eventually ends up, but I am very disappointed with how the show has come from season 1 to season 5. Very disappointed. And yeah, I don't look forward to some of the stuff that's probably gonna happen. I'm not gonna stop watching the show, even though I have friends that have stopped, which again, that's understandable, cause it is like kind of a train wreck now, but I appreciate you guys watching this video. Again, leave your comments here. What do you think of the movie? Do you think it's more than a 6 out of 10? Do you like the songs? Do you think they're memorable? Please let me know. And again, please be civil in the comments if you don't quite agree with everything I have to say. Yeah, but check out the movie, and maybe I'll do more videos like this depending on what's going on. Along with more unboxings and such. But yeah, if you want to follow me, I still have a Twitter. It's still That's Mia on Twitter. I haven't changed anything. I have a TikTok. That's Mia93. You can go check out my TikTok. I post more frequently on there because it's easier to make shorter videos. And I also have a new podcast. Well, slightly new. We have at least 15 episodes now of Utano Podcast. It's an Utano Prince Sama podcast. And if you're interested in that, I have a full playlist of every podcast episode here on my channel. I go live every 2 weeks on Fridays at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. That schedule is going to change a little bit in the coming months, only because I'm going to be busy during the week and on Friday nights for 3 weeks in October, so I'm going to have to change my schedule with streaming that. I also have a Twitch you can follow. Again, it's twitch.tv/thatsmia. I'm trying to see if I can start streaming again, playing video games. But I gotta get back into the groove of things, and yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm gonna try to figure out how my schedule is gonna be working. Again, I do apologize for not posting a video within, like, I don't know, the last, like, 8 months, I think, or 9 months. But yeah, I have a few video ideas that I want to try to do, and again, I can do more videos like this, where it's just me talking and it's not scripted. I want to do scripted videos too, but I gotta have time to write a script. But anyway, thank you again for joining me, and have fun, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!